Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Dave coming to you from the paddock right here in Southern Maryland. Um, let's see. Sasha's down there. So this morning was start all the cars day. I usually try to get all the cars started, run them up to operating temp, let them run for about an hour. Even if I don't roll them out on the road, at least keeps the fuel lines and it keeps everything lubricated. I should roll them. I should drive them, but with her, it's hard. I got to get her used to a couple of new cars. But anyway, she's a little off this morning because she's like, "What the hell was all that noise going on?" Because with that 70 Chevelle running and the 65 Mustang running and my GT 500s running, it's pretty noisy in here, and it smells weird. We got the doors open, so there's no asphyxiation risk, but pretty loud, pretty smelly, and she had never had been here for car start day, so that's why she's laying all quiet down in her bed under the table versus being out there in guard dog duty. So, guys, I'm smoking my Maryland Meerschaum as always. I love this pipe. What's in it? It's a little bit different. So I reached out and grabbed the last four Cornell and Deal's Big and Burly because I've discovered I should have known this for a while, but I'm a Burley man. I mean, my favorite top of the list for my tobaccos are Ken Byron Ventures Burley Morning Pipe, Ken Byron Ventures Burlier Morning Pipe, 8 State Burley, Boswell's Premium Burley. So I said, I want to reach out and try something a little different. So I'll do a review on this. I just started it really yesterday. So anyway, so we'll do. I'll give you my thoughts on this here probably in a week or so. But it's really that's the pipe. That's what's in it. As always, thank you, Greg. So this video is completely in response to a question that one of you submitted about tariffs. I thought it was a really good question. Rather than try to type out a long response, I thought it might be possibly interesting to the general public. So, Gen Pop. So I just want to answer the question here in video. So the question was, why are tariffs considered bad? And why, when one country submits a tariff against us, why is it so bad, to put one back on them? So that was sort of the question. Why are tariffs bad, and why is it so kind of emotionally or viewed as bad when we retaliate with a tariff on somebody that's already got one against us? So that's the whole point of this video. We're done with the tobacco. We're done with the paddock. We're done with anything else. It's just going to be a quick conversation about tariffs. So if that's not your thing, off you go. Talk to you later. But I just thought I'd give you my opinion on an answer to the question. You guys see, I'm watching videos right now. So there's Red Dragon. I used to call him Welsh Piper, but I think he's Red Dragon now. The Red Dragon. He's Mark. Come on, man. Welsh Piper. Anyway, watching. But I figure I gotta stop screwing around, stop watching videos, get a little work done. So that's what we're doing right now. So let's talk tariffs for a minute. Why are tariffs bad? So I think tariffs aren't bad. Tariffs have been around since the actual birth of the nation. They're used for various purposes. And I think the various purposes can generate emotion. And so emotion then can be kind of what we view as good or bad. So I think tariffs by themselves aren't bad. They're used for various purposes. The first one is to generate revenue for a country. Now, we only generate about 50, $60 billion a year in tariff income. It's essentially taxing a foreign country. But the foreign country doesn't pay the tariffs, right? We don't send a bill to Canada or Mexico, right? We assess it as a tax or a fee upon an importer. So it's really the company inside the U.S. that when customs sees a shipment coming, they give a bill, and many times the bill has to be paid before it can clear customs. So So a little bit of a misnomer to say we're taxing a foreign country, but you hear that over and over again. So anyway, it's a tax on a foreign country, but it's paid by the importer, which then just passes it through to us. So to some extent, it's taxing us. Um, but purpose number one is to generate revenue. Now we only generate 50, 60 billion a year in on a country that's probably got what, a $7 trillion budget this year. It's a drop in the bucket. So I think we would have to substantially and fundamentally reevaluate our use of tariffs for tariff income to then turn around and supersede property tax or income tax. So I know that's one of the things being discussed right now is, hey, we're going to get rid of the Internal Revenue Service. We're going to create an External Revenue Service. We're going to get rid of all income tax on Americans. We're going to stop taxing our own people, and we're going to tax foreigners. I hear all that, and I want to believe it. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying we got a long way to go to generate 50 billion to generate 6, 7, $8 trillion. So we'll see where it comes on that. But that's the first purpose: generate revenue for a country. So the second purpose is to protect our own industries. You're trying to prevent a foreign country from dumping cheap products on the United States or anywhere, right? This is a universal answer, but I'll talk to the U.S. And so if a foreign country is dumping or selling at an exceedingly much lower cost or price than we're selling for, then our domestic enterprises or companies either have to fundamentally change, move, or we impose tariffs on the foreign goods to even out the price difference. So when we as Americans go to choose to buy something, we're generally we usually base our decision on price, by the way. You're not automatically picking a foreign product because it's so much cheaper than the American product. So that's the second purpose of tariffs: generate revenue, increase or level out pricing of foreign versus domestic products. And the third reason, number 3, is to try to right trade imbalances. And right now, pretty much with every country in the world, the United States is hemorrhaging cash. We are spending way more money on exports than we are receiving money from selling our exports. And so it's called the import-export trade balance, or just the trade balance, and it has been upside down woefully to the tunes of hundreds of billions of dollars for years, for decades, really. And so that's the third purpose of tariffs, is try to right the trade imbalance and say, hey, if we import 100 billion into your country and you don't import 100 billion of our product into your country, we're going to impose tariffs on your imports so that the money we make on imports basically balances out what we spend on what you import into our country. So those are the 3 main purposes. Clearly there's a fourth, and that is for negotiations, political reasons. You're trying to punish another country. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that because there's nothing empirical about that. It's just that's what they're used for at times. We can't import anything from Cuba because we're trying to punish Cuba. Now that's been true since like 1970. Clearly, it's not working. I think we could reevaluate letting Cuban cigars come into the United States. So anyway, I don't think it works as a punishment tool unless the whole world decides to go with us, and that rarely happens. It probably works as a negotiating tactic. I've seen other countries come to the table to have conversations that might not have if we weren't imposing tariffs. So that might work. But anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about the rest. So part of the reason tariffs are lots of times, particularly in the press, are viewed as bad because we operate in the largest possible a free market environment. And so our stock markets, our bond markets, our commodity markets all operate preferably in a non-tariff environment. The free markets don't like tariffs. And so part of the reason tariffs are bad is tariffs cause fear in the market. Fear in the market means markets drop. Markets drop means your 401k goes down, companies are worth less, companies have less operating capital, their operating margins start to get in trouble. People don't like that. And so, again, I'm not saying tariffs are bad, but I'm saying part of the reason they're viewed, particularly in the media, as bad is they cause our free markets to grow concerned. Free markets like open and free trade. They don't really care about politics or balancing trade embargoes or balancing trade imbalances. They just want to know that the capital that's invested by companies is used efficiently, and spending money on tariffs, on import taxes, is not an efficient use of money. So that is one of the reasons that tariffs can be viewed as bad. Um, they're not bad, right? But that's one of the reasons they can be viewed as bad. Another reason they can be viewed as bad is emotional. Like in Canada right now, the American tariffs are viewed as bad. They're viewed as punitive, um, when in fact Canada really has almost as many tariffs on our products as we have on theirs. Um, and so any change in the current tariff environment where the new tariffs are being put in place or current tariffs are being increased by percentage, and we do that to for political reasons, to bring a country to the table, or just the change in general can be spun up very emotionally by the press. I think if the press hadn't made a big deal about it, I don't know if the Canadian public would be all that upset about some of the prices going up on their side and some of the prices going up on our side as tariffs are imposed. I just think we stand ready to be angry, right? We stand ready to be inflamed or upset by any subject in today's world, and the press knows that, and they know how to work us. And so they say, oh, the U.S. is trying to destroy the trading relationship with Canada and trying to destroy Canadian businesses, and that's just not true. But truth and media don't seem to intersect much anymore, and the average person doesn't seem to want to do much more than read a YouTube headline or a Wall Street Journal headline or try to understand the true purpose of the article. So they get this posted as bad, right? The U.S. is being bad because we're imposing tariffs. And it's just not true, but a lot of people don't let truth or facts fuck up their story. So another reason I think they get viewed as tariffs, get labeled as bad, is they get stuck in this weird position. They get stuck in the middle of things. Like when we say as the U.S., we're raising tariffs to generate more income, and we're going to reduce taxes on the U.S. citizens, and then we see tariffs get imposed, but no tax relief comes. Or if you look up the facts of, what is it, like 1% of our income is tariff based, and it would take fundamental restructuring to really generate enough revenue to run our budget. And you see that not happening. So you kind of go, well, you said one thing, but we're doing another, and what you said doesn't really seem to be happening. And you start saying, are you lying to me about this? Or is there a whole other purpose for this? And so you get this emotion of, hey, I'm being lied to, and so tariffs are bad, right? Versus, hey, the politicians who are doing it for one purpose, but saying another. Sometimes I think you get angry about that, and so you get angry at the tariffs, and so tariffs become bad. Again, tariffs aren't bad amongst themselves. It's how we're using them, how they're positioned by the media, is what we say versus what we do congruent. And a lot of times that this isn't true. So the media spins it. People don't like change. Markets don't like it. Markets go down because of tariffs. And so we kind of say, well, obviously tariffs are bad. So maybe all it does make them bad. I don't know. But tariffs by themselves have existed for hundreds of years, and for some reason we're just calling them bad now. I don't like tariffs. I don't like what they do to the open market. I think our markets are tippy toppy right now, and you've seen them pretty much head lower for the last few weeks, the last month. And I think a lot of that is because they're nervous about a tariff war. Are we just seeing the first phase? Are we going to have several years of this kind of behavior? If we do, all of our investments are going to erode. So maybe that's why tariffs are bad. But just in general, they aren't bad. It's how they're used, how they're spun, how they're perceived, how they're talked about, what are they used for. I guess that's it. I just wanted to try to put some non-emotional, logical stuff out there about tariffs. So, not a tariff fan, not here to justify them. I'm just saying that they by themselves aren't bad. It's all the shit that gets wrapped around them that can be bad. Hope this answers the question. Guys, push back on me, talk back, ask questions. Did I completely miss the point? Or does this help? That's it. I'm going to shut up and get this up. Talk to you guys later. Bye.